Okay, everybody, here is the big show, the man himself, Justin Posey. Thank you for coming on, Justin. So no intro, no song. We're just going to go right into it. Justin's got some limited time, so he cannot do the full hour. So in our Discord, we took a bunch of questions. We have them in no particular order, and we're just going to kind of rapid fire and answer what you can, okay?
That sounds great.
All right. So first question is just in general, how's the experience been so far? Because you had Netflix, now this treasure hunt. You said you're getting 1,000 emails a day through the website. How's the experience been?
Sorry, my monitor is.
Mine did that too.
What's going on? There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Lots of monitors. Okay, there we go. Yes, the response has been quite overwhelming, far beyond what I ever anticipated. So it's been a bit of a challenge to just kind of keep up with everything. I know a lot of people are reaching out. They have a lot of questions. I think most of what I wanted to say, I think, is on the website. I'll do my best to keep that updated in the coming days. But beyond that, I'm excited that everybody's excited, because that's really what it's all about.
That's awesome. Okay, so the first question, of course, will come from me because this hits home for me. We know that you're a pretty smart guy. You talked about X-ray vision. I didn't even understand that. And so do you need to be techie? Do you need to have kind of that, I don't know, programmer's knowledge? Like in the span of, redneck up to super PhDs, could everyone solve this? Or is there going to be something more to it that you may need to learn?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've done my best to design this in a way that is accessible by anybody. You don't need any advanced degrees. I think any reasonable person that spends a little bit of time, maybe a little time researching online and, watching the series, reading the book to kind of get a baseline understanding of, I guess, me, I think is on equal footing. It was really important to me that no one had a leg up over anybody else. And so, very specifically, I avoided any sort of advanced information as long as humanly possible. I waited as long as possible to register the ISBN for the book to make sure that people didn't know that was coming ahead of time, since it had a description in it about, the treasure. And I also, the poem didn't even go into the book until the moment it went to the printer for printing. So no one saw the poem ahead of time or anything. So I think everybody's on equal footing here, to the best of my abilities. And I don't think anybody has a leg up over anybody else. And I think that anybody can solve this.
Okay, follow-up question. You kind of answered it, but some people are saying they're finding things in the code of your website, treasure.quest. Is that necessary? Should people be looking into the background of the code or anything like that?
No, that sounds like fun, but I can put that to rest right now. There's no hidden codes in the website itself. Nothing that would require like an engineering degree or computer science degree or anything like that.
Awesome. Okay. So in the Forrest Fenn poem, there were 9 clues. Can you say, is there a certain number of clues in your poem?
Well, that's a good question. I think yes. And I'm trying to recall how many there are. I'll update the website with that. But I don't want to say something that is slightly off, because there's a few in there where it's like, would you consider that 1 clue or 2? And I know people will split hairs on this later, so I want to be really cautious about how I answer that. So yes, I can answer that, just not right now.
Okay, that's awesome.
So would you say the poem is a step-by-step map, point to point, kind of like Forrest Fenn's was?
Oh, do you mean like consecutive order? Or?
Exactly. Or are the clues contiguous, or are they consecutive? Do you go in order, point to point?
Yeah, and I'll preface this by saying, it's important to me that everybody has kind of equal access to the information. So I'll certainly update the website with this information later. But yeah, I think it's fair to say the clues are in consecutive order.
Wow, awesome.
Good. Logical. That's good.
So we're scouring the book just like we did for TTOTC. Can you give us a ballpark number of, are there 5, 50, 500? Like, how many hints are we looking for in this book? Because we can see every page, 10 each page, but can you give us a ballpark of what we're looking at?
Oh, boy. That's another good question. I would say several. There are several. It's not like there's just one specific page in the book. There are several sprinkled throughout.
Okay.
And you know we're treasure hunters, so we're going to ask these questions. So just answer what you can. So you said there will be a 30-day clock that starts when somebody finds it, which sounds like you know when somebody finds it in order to start that 30-day clock. Are you the only one that knows when somebody does find it, or does the steward also? Will the steward also know when somebody finds it?
It's not something I can actually expand on. I don't want to give too much away there. But I think it's fair to say that there is a countdown, and people do need to come forward within that 30-day window in order to collect the Bitcoin proceeds.
Okay.
So a couple of the safety questions that we got. Can you say whether the chest is buried or you have to cross water?
Yep, good questions. I'm not going to say whether or not it's buried, but what I will say is if you know where to go, it wouldn't matter either way. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And also,
we'll analyze the heck out of that one.
Yeah, and then in terms of the water crossings, no, I mean nothing dangerous required.
Okay.
Can someone find it without using the map that's in the book or on the website? Or would you recommend using that map?
I think the map is useful. I think I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So we know you're not going to, or you haven't said what the value of your treasure is, but can you tell us how many gold coins are in there?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'd actually have to check the inventory to be certain on the number there, but there are many, and there are I think almost exclusively all of them are at least 1 ounce or larger. The exception being something like, the coin from the Lydian Empire. They didn't make 1 ounce gold coins back then, so that's quite a bit smaller. And the 1652 oak tree shilling is, I think it's comparable in size to the 1 ounce gold coins, but of course it's not made of gold. But almost exclusively, everything in the treasure is gold. There are some gems and so on, and some other goodies I stuffed in there as well. But I pretty much filled this thing to the gills, and it is just, I couldn't fit anything else in it. It is just overflowing.
Nice.
Wow, that's great.
I'm going to take one real quick. I don't think we should do super chats tonight.
That's what I was just going to say.
And we thank you for all 400 of you joining us right now. We know this was kind of last minute to say exciting. So there'll be a lot of people replaying, and questions that come in. We have a set of questions, and we know we have limited time, so we're just going to kind of get through them. If we can get back to super chats, usually we go right away to them, but we can't tonight. Okay, Mike, go.
Okay. Will the solution take you to an exact spot or more of a general area?
If you've solved the poem in its entirety, you will end up at an exact location.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, we're all cheering. Okay. Can you say how far you have to go? Some of us have to get in shape and things like the Forest Hunt. I went 1 mile and Forrest said not more than a mile. Can you say how far from your car you're going to be hiking? A mile, just kind of outer perimeter, so someone can make sure to prepare appropriately for safety.
Yeah, I know there's been actually several questions about this. First off, I realize there's a lot of people who have been reaching out and messaging me. I've received thousands and thousands of messages, so I'm not ignoring you. It's not actually physically possible for me to get through all of them. I have limited time during the evenings and weekends to dedicate to that sort of thing. So I'm not ignoring anybody. Please know that. But I did see a few questions. There were some folks that have disabilities or are otherwise not in a position to hike great distances. Rest assured, you don't need to hike any great distance. In fact, I go so far as to say that you don't need to hike more than a mile to figure out where the treasure's at.
Oh, more than a mile. Awesome.
Another great answer. Thank you.
Okay, we know that from the steward we get half of the Bitcoin password. Does the steward have other treasure items for the eventual finder?
There are some additional items that the steward has. Yes.
Nice. All right.
Wow. Okay, and it kind of answers it with IT, but I want to get a little bit more specific. Advanced ciphers that you and Mike might find enjoyable. Some of us don't. Are advanced ciphers needed, or did you kind of answer that with the question of this is for everybody, or are those fair game?
Yeah. I think it's. I think I'd answer that by saying there's one hint that I just couldn't help myself that I think maybe arguably could require a slight bit of technical knowledge, possibly, but just one. And it's, I wouldn't call it necessarily a critical hint or anything like that, but it was just something I wanted to have a little fun with. So there is something there, but it's just one.
Okay. Okay.
You could say a cipher, maybe not an advanced cipher.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate.
So here's a big one. People want to know if there are any red herrings. Maybe did you intentionally put a red herring either in the poem or the book?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you think about the act of creating a poem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is, for a treasure hunt, that is a way to obfuscate. So at its core, like, there is some obfuscation, of course. But I spent 10 years looking for forest treasure, and I can imagine the frustration that would mount for anybody who was really invested in something, and it turned out to be a red herring that was on purpose. So rest assured, I haven't created any red herrings just to mess with people or anything like that. I mean, I think that's all probably left up to interpretation. Somebody might look at it and say, well, you did that on purpose. But from my perspective, no, I haven't created any intentional red herrings.
Another great answer. Okay. Can we assess this location 24/7? Or maybe the location might have hours or things that we would need to worry about not being accessible 24/7?
As of March 31st at 8:10 p.m. Central Time, 2025, no, there shouldn't be any restrictions in that regard.
Okay.
Do you have to pay to get into the location?
No.
Okay.
This was a huge one for Forrest Fenn. Will you give the complete solve after it's found, including the Netflix hits?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't see why I wouldn't. I can imagine, I mean, just being in the position that I was in, and many of us throughout the Forrest Fenn hunt, it was pretty maddening at the end to really want to understand what the solution was. And I know there's not going to be any pleasing everybody. No matter what the solution is, there will be people out there that say it's horrible, it's the worst poem in the world. That's fine. But what I do think is important is that people have some degree of closure. So yes, I do plan to do that.
That's awesome.
And that's why Beyond the Map's Edge is a great hunt, because you've been on the other side. You've been a hunter, right? You've been in that position.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So here's a big one. The LLC transfer from Texas to Wyoming and the jurisdiction of Wyoming. Why did you have to move it to Wyoming? And of course, there's some people that think that means the treasure's in Wyoming. I don't know if you can speak to that or not.
Yeah, there might be some confusion there. So there was no LLC transfer to Wyoming. As part of this endeavor, an LLC was formed, and from day one, it was in the state of Wyoming. And there's a number of reasons why it was set up that way, but there was no transfer from Texas.
Okay. Wow. Can it be found in wintertime, or do we need to worry? Maybe we're at a hard stop right now on another big hunt that's going on because of snow. Is it a year-round accessible boots on the ground?
I don't want anybody doing anything dangerous. So if there's snowy conditions, you're not gonna have much luck. So I would completely avoid searching in the snow or any bitter cold conditions like that. What's most important is keeping it safe. The last thing I think we want is any sort of injuries or even worse than that. Certainly don't want to spoil the fun for everybody. I think that it's important that people play it safe on this one.
Okay. Is the property that you abandoned just out there in some remote location, or is it kind of hidden like a geocache?
Oh, well, I mean, the container that it's hidden in whoever finds it, you will immediately recognize it. And anybody who has watched the series or read my book, they'll know right away. And no, it's not some replica of the Fen chest or anything like that. You don't need any knowledge of the Fen treasure hunt to be successful here. Everybody's starting on the same foot. And yes, it is extremely recognizable.
So it sounds like it's not hidden. Is that what you said, or maybe not?
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Can you tell us ballpark how many, like, so you put hints in Netflix, and then some of them, because you didn't know what would hit the cutting room floor, how many are we looking at? And did any of them not make it in that you thought really would have been helpful? You know, kind of what did that process look like? Because it sounds fascinating.
You know, that was a pretty unique challenge. I had zero creative control over this process. You know, just like everybody else, I was a participant in the documentary series. And you know, that's hard because I didn't know what scenes were going to be edited out. I didn't know what was going to be in focus. I didn't know what the frame size was going to be. There was a lot of things I didn't know. Also, I didn't know what order the scenes were going to play in. And so I think that creates a unique challenge. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that not everything that I wanted to be in there landed in there just because I didn't have any say. But I think there are some really good hints in there. And I kind of struggle looking back on it, like, what is a better reference? Like if I had to choose between, say, the book and the series. And I think overall, I would say that the book is a better resource for people, but there are some good things in the series.
All right.
And if you guys stick around after Justin leaves, we've come up with a few, Discord's come up with a few. We're gonna share maybe 3 or 4 hints that we think are hints.
Oh,
Justin can confirm, like, we think they're hints. And they're pretty clever. Okay.
Here's a big one, I think. So there are some people that are now researching your family, and that's because your grandfather's amazing life is in the book. You talk about your father, your brothers. Are you okay with that? And is that necessary to do any research on them outside of the book?
Well, you know, when I wrote the book, I do talk about my family, especially folks that have departed since, well, even before the book was written, and so I think that is fair game. It's not like you need to go, you know, finding people that are friends or family in my life and tracking them down or anything like that. It's not anything like that. But you know, I think anything that's mentioned in the book is fair game.
Okay. Now you had a very special bond with your brother. If he was still here, would you have done this hunt or created this hunt with him, or is this because of the journey that you had with him?
Yeah, I think a large part of this was, I think you'd call it a tribute. So I don't know if I would have done it if he was here or not. I mean, I think that would kind of depend on how, I mean, if everything ended the same way of the Fen treasure hunt, then I might have. It certainly crossed my mind many times. But the situation with my brother was certainly enough to push me past that line and be resolute in saying that I'm doing this.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm going to expound on this one a little bit, K-Pro, and I don't know if that's later. The problem with Forrest Fenn's poem is we would never know if we had the right where warm waters halt until we had the treasure chest. That's what Forrest said. In your poem, is there any kind of clue verification built in? Will we know we have the right first clue or the second clue, or you don't know if you're in the right spot until you find the chest?
There is, I think, for lack of a better term, there is a checkpoint that will give you zero doubt that you are trending in the right direction.
Ah, well, then we got to hit that for this.
Yeah, that was, you're being phenomenal about your answers.
Now, is it a checkpoint for us, or is it a checkpoint also for you, or you will know if somebody is that far along?
It's a good question.
Yeah. All right. That might be the answer.
He says with a smile. Okay.
Right.
Can you rule out any structures? We've learned so much from Forrest Hunt. People destroy things, unfortunately. Can you rule out it's not in a structure so people aren't going into place?
Absolutely.
Structures?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's something I should have done before. I apologize. I need to update the website with all of this stuff. But
okay.
The treasure is not associated with any man-made structure,
Okay.
and there is it's not hidden at a structure or anything. You don't need to touch a structure.
Great. That's great. That's great.
I'm going to skip the next one, K-Pro, because I think he
Okay.
answered that. How much is solvable from home with research before you go boots on the ground?
Yeah.
A fair amount.
Okay, good.
Okay. Does the book contain actual clues or hints to the clues in the poem? Likewise, does the Netflix series contain actual clues or hints to the clues?
So,
Well, so first off, I think Forrest had a distinction between a clue and a hint. There was some sort of, I don't, and just so people are aware, a clue is a hint is a clue. It's all kind of the same to me. So I think it's fair to say that there are some hints in the series that will guide you in the book. How's that?
Okay. That's exactly. Yeah.
And I think he kind of answered the next one.
He did. He did.
And the next one as well. We're almost to the end here.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are good.
Yeah. Can you talk about an item that was maybe special to you, or that maybe you regret putting in the chest?
Yeah, there's a small collection of something in there that I placed deliberately, but means a great deal to me. And I think it's more sentimental than any sort of value beyond that. I don't regret putting it in there, but it really was a core piece of me.
Okay.
Would you want it back from the eventual finder?
I don't think it's fair to put requests on the finder. That's totally up to them. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to jump around a little just because of the previous stuff, Mike.
Yeah.
You said 60 pounds. Does that include the weight of the container, or is that the contents of of what the treasure is?
Yeah. I mean, before I hit it, I actually literally put the whole thing on the scale and just tried to get a ballpark number. If I recall correctly, it's actually a bit north of 60 pounds. Don't quote me on that, though. No, but I think it does. Yeah, I mean, it certainly includes the container. Yeah.
Okay. So you weighed the whole thing. Okay.
I did.
The person that finds the location that whispers of personal lore and secrets. Is it true that the person that finds the treasure will have come to know what those lore and secrets are?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's a piece of it.
Now, it seems to me in the Netflix series, some may be interpreting some of the edited information that came out in episode 3 that you did not actually purchase Forrest Fenn's chest. You did not auction it. You had to go to plan B. Some conspiracy theorists says this confirms the actual chest is still out there. I think it's a pretty easy, I think, explanations, but I think important that people hear from you. Did you purchase the chest? Did you actually auction it? And what, maybe it was just editing, or any explanation you can give.
Yeah, I realize that might be a little confusing to people that were, aware of the entire sequence of events. So, I think the documentary was accurate in the sense that it said that there was an initial round of negotiations that ended up falling through. But there was kind of a continuation of that negotiation that picked up, my goodness, many months later, that culminated in a purchase. And I think at that time, the thought was we'd like to give a lot of these pieces back to the people that searched for it for so many years. I know myself searching for it for that long, having a piece was really important to me. And I think that some others felt the same way. Unfortunately, we couldn't just give it away, but I think the auction was the best course of action.
Yeah, it was great. Well, we had a whole party in here. So we're on the last couple questions. We know we're a couple minutes over where you could be. So just a couple more, and then we'll wrap up.
What's your favorite constellation? Somebody asked. You have one, or
I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
So you did, just from an equity standpoint, Matt Smell the Sunshine was your editor. You had an illustrator, the Netflix producers, etc. All may have a small piece of information a little bit in advance. Is anyone precluded from searching, or you have an agreement with them? Probably not best if you search because there might be the perception of inequity, or is it kind of everybody, you've planned for it, so everybody, it's fair game?
I did plan meticulously to ensure that not any single person had any significant leg up over anybody else. So some folks might not like this answer, but from my perspective, it's a free for all. Anybody can go and do it. Now, I think there are a few folks that are involved that just for their own personal reasons don't want to because they understand the optics of that. But I don't think it's fair for me to go to them and say, now you're excluded, because they don't have any special information.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin. I think that kind of is it. Is there anything you want to tell us? Anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Or is there a question that we should have asked that you're surprised that we didn't ask?
No, I think I knew that you guys would be asking the pointed questions, given your background and heavy involvement with Fenn's treasure hunt over the years. So I appreciate the time. I'd love to stay longer. The issue now is just the supply chain issues with the book. I'm sure people have realized it's a little challenging to get a hold of it right now.
Yeah.
So I'm working with some of the suppliers this evening, trying to get things up and running again so that there's better access. But I do want to be clear with people. The website will be updated with this information. And, I think that was one of the frustrations when I was a Fenn treasure hunter, is that there was just all these different avenues of information and it was hard to kind of keep track of everything. So I do think it's important for it to be somewhat centralized. So at a minimum, I'll be linking to things that I think are of importance, or other people may find important. So, yeah.
And I will email you all these questions, and whichever ones you want to put up with, to make it fair for everybody. You do what you want with them, I guess.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you guys for your time. It's good to talk.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Treasure.quest, everybody. Treasure.quest. And of course, Golden Greed on Netflix. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Thanks for doing the treasure hunt, and thanks for joining us. You knew the questions you were going to ask. You came on anyway, so thank you.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, he didn't know the particular questions. He just knew we were going to have hard-hitting questions. We didn't give him this list up front, is what I mean. So.
Oh, right. No, that's right. He knew we were going to ask some pointed questions.
I did.
Thanks again, Justin.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Okay. So everybody stick around, because we are going to. Let me do this. Yeah.
So we found some hints and clues, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. And Mike's like, you did it in Past and Future, so I want to share it with everyone. So, which is amazing that he wants to do that.
Breaking news, everybody. Yeah. I only know of a few people that have discussed this. I don't know if anybody's discussed it publicly. But we're going to show you what it is, and more important, we're going to show screenshots, and then we can discuss what do you think it means.
Can we just take a hot second?
Yeah, and thank you for everybody who did a super chat. Sorry we couldn't get to them, but Justin's time was limited. We wanted to get through the questions.
Can we just take a second?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the amount that he answered was shocking to me.
Yeah.
Again, Justin's not going to, and that he's going to put everything on his website to ensure that everything's equitable. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. That was awesome.
And just so everybody's aware, treasure.quest, you can go get the ebook and you can be reading the book tonight. The ebook is available. Yeah. He's having some supply chain issues with the physical book, and he's working on them. Thanks, Diana. We appreciate that. So everybody make sure you subscribe, because me and K-Pro, we're going to have Luby on. We're going to get Cynthia on. I hope we get the Hearst on to talk about Netflix, which is a part of this. I just want to know, did they have any inkling that there was going to be a treasure hunt?
You see what Rudy said?
Thanks, Rudy. So everybody, please subscribe. We're definitely going live whenever there's breaking news. And now let's get into Netflix. Justin confirmed there are some major, I think he said major hints.
Yeah, he said
help you. Did he say, and again, I'm going to rewatch this 5 times. Did he say it helps you with where to look in the book?
Okay, wait.
Yeah, it helps with
Netflix question.
He said what the hints help with. So anyway.
There are some good hints in the Netflix doc. Not everything got in, but there were some good hints. Wait until you guys see what we found. It's so exciting. Okay. And Mike, are we giving all 4 of our big clues tonight?
Let's do combo lock. That's the big one for me. The big one for me. If you don't know, we're about to tell you.
Cody Brown is in the chat. Cody, you know that's not you.
In episode 3, almost at the very end of episode 3, and I can give you the actual minute mark. Episode 3 at 40 minutes and 27 seconds. I'm not actually going to show it, but I'm going to give you screenshots. Episode 3, 40-minute and 27 mark, he does a combination lock on his safe, and he shows not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 numbers. Okay, those 4 numbers mean something. Those 4 numbers are not random. So let me show you the screenshots, and let's agree what the numbers are, because I've gone back and forth with some people to say, is that the number? So let me show you what I did a screenshot of, and you guys can tell me. So this is the first number. Okay, he stops on 41, 42. He stops on 44. Okay, first number is 44.
44. What's
So
the
you
next
guys
number,
write this down.
Cowlazars? I'm writing it down. 44.
44.
That long, Kiwi might know where we're going with this one.
Yeah. Then second number he goes to is 26. Okay, it's pretty clear. 26. Yeah. Third number he goes to 1. Okay.
1. Tell us more.
The last number is the interesting one. And this is the point of contention. The last number he goes to, from what I see, is right here. Now, what does that look like to you, K-Pro?
10.5, Mike.
It looks like it's right in between 10 and 11. He doesn't go to 10. He doesn't go to 11. He goes in the middle. And it kind of lingers there for a second in Netflix when you watch it. You guys can all check this out yourself.
Why is that important, Mike?
Well, if you look at those 4 numbers, okay, I believe it's in between 10 and 11. If you look at those 4 numbers, let me bring it up. Sorry, I don't want to get it wrong. The 4 numbers are 44, 26, 1, and 10.5. In between 10 and 11 is 10.5. And another way you could read that is 44, 26, 01, 10.5. That's latitude, longitude. Does anybody know where latitude, longitude leads? Anybody? If it is 10.5, go ahead, tell them, Kate.
9-mile hole. 9-mile hole. Can you believe it? 9-mile hole, guys. That's our starting point. 9-mile hole.
If it is 10.5, and it has to be 10.5 because it's 44.26 north, and then it's 110, and then the 5 for west, I believe it is. So 44.26.01, you could say 1 or 01, 10.5. But the 1 and the 10.5, you put them together is 110, and then the 5 after that. That is a GPS to 9-mile hole, and that is pretty freaking awesome. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Think about this. If this is his tribute for kind of Ode to Forest, that's where he got his inspiration. He takes from 9-mile hole where the treasure one was and begins his journey. It's a hint. It's a clue. Breaking news.
Let's clarify something here. Okay. Jared says, I logged it as 10, but also being in the middle is wrong. It's one or the other. Safes don't work like that. Right, Jared, he wasn't actually opening his safe. He was giving us some hints and clues, is our opinion. And again, you may say, no, that's not right. But how is it 44.26, which is the latitude for 9-mile hole, and then 10.5, 110, and 5 is the longitude?
Crazy.
Now, Jeremy's got a good question. If it is 9-mile hole GPS, is it just an Easter egg or does it mean something more? That's what
I think it's our starting point. I think he's already told us we're taking this contiguous journey or something like that. We can wordsmith that later. We're starting on a journey. I think we're starting it also 9,000 miles. I think we're starting 9,000-mile journey at 9-mile hole. 9-mile hole.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it means start at 9-mile hole. I think it could be just a really fun Easter egg, but couldn't that also be everybody? I think that deserves a thumbs up. Couldn't that also be a hint that maybe GPS numbers are used in the book? That might be one way to find the treasure.
Mike.
It's a hint. He says there's hints in Netflix. He used a safe combination to give GPS coordinates. What's that a hint to? GPS coordinates. I mean, I think it's brilliant. I mean, Justin, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, Duke
there
agrees.
are some people that I'm going to bucket into certain things they see naturally. I'm going to say with Davio, it's music and periodic tables. And I will say with you, it is GPS. Every single, anything you see GPS. It may still be in there. It is an amazing coincidence if it wasn't in there. But amazing. Okay, that's just for starters, guys.
Rudy Green says the starting point is in the poem. It's not in Netflix. Netflix is a hint to something in the book or something for the poem.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Does it mean 9-mile hole is more important than we think for the poem or for the book? Yeah, it's pointing out 9 Mile Hole. The question is why? How is that a hint? And that's what we'll talk about in future shows.
No way it's a coincidence, says Craig Carter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first one. I did just get a text from my daughter. Hi, she's now watching. She will not be commenting. You guys will not be interacting with her. But she said, Mike, you guys better not give away my clues. So we're going to be very mindful. Anything you've given us, Sam.
I don't know what Sam's clues are. Okay. Nicole Chero says, but why would he go back to the same area? I don't think he physically went back to 9 Mile Hole. That's not what we're saying, right, K-Pro? When you say it's a starting point, I don't mean we're supposed to physically go to 9 Mile Hole. We're talking about either in the book, maybe the chapter about 9 Mile Hole is important, or something in the poem relates to 9 Mile Hole. But we're not saying that we all should travel to 9 Mile Hole. Correct. So I just wanted to make sure that's clear.
Actually, he does open the safe in another episode, and that is true, but it doesn't give the full 4 like this particular.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ken says you don't have to pay. So you don't have to pay to get into Yellowstone. I mean, we're not saying what he hid is at 9 Mile Hole or in Yellowstone. We're not saying that. He did say you don't have to pay, right?
Right, and you do have to pay to go into Yellowstone. Right. I know you don't because you're military, but
most people do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
Because he wouldn't have said anything, Willitude. He wouldn't have. He may have smiled or something, but he's not going to confirm that.
Yeah, we kind of. There was a lot of people that asked questions like, where is the location? We know we didn't. We kept those out. He was so great. Okay. Next. I found this one, so I feel comfortable with sharing. So there's in episode 1 when they are I don't have a picture for this. Sorry.
I might. Okay, I might. Go ahead.
The urn.
No,
so
I don't.
In episode 1, you see Justin starting to talk about his grandfather being the wild fish and game warden or whatever the terminology is. And there's a picture of his grandfather. There's a white rock in front of it, and then there's something blue on the side. That has actually been talked about, or you see him at that desk a couple of times, and it's always white rock, blue side. On episode 3, during I think it was the watch party, or maybe it was afterwards. No, it was during the watch party. Episode 3, that same configuration and Justin's wearing the same thing, but there is what we think is an urn. It is a copper-looking cylindrical thing. So why did that scene change? There you go.
Yeah, that's the question. Why did it change? Now, again, Jared I think he's having some trouble. He says, but he does actually open the safe earlier, and 44 isn't the first number. Do you think Justin would give his real combination in Netflix or the real safe? No, he would not. That is set up for Netflix, okay? It's set up as a hint or a clue, in our opinion. But he's not giving the real combination to his safe. So yeah, it's definitely set up. It's a GPS to 9 Mile Hole, guys. It just is.
Emma, if you want to email cowlazars@gmail.com, he might be able to bring it up as we're talking about it, because we have 2 more. Oh, just wait. The biggest one that actually, she's going to kill me. But enough people have talked about this. I'm going to give first person that found this was my daughter. When she found it, we died. And then now it's been put up on Discord and things, but she found it first night. But let's go coffee mugs on the famous, put the famous picture up of the
coffee mug. Yep. There we go.
Yeah. So sometimes there's 1 coffee mug. Sometimes there's no coffee mugs. Sometimes there's 2 coffee mugs. Some people are saying the handle of where it is. I'm not sure about that, but I just want to say in general, the coffee mug seems to stand out because they prep it. We had a woman named Rebecca in our, she has been involved for years in the documentary business or making, I don't know, movie sets. They prep all of this to make sure stuff is not sitting out. So anything that is sitting out, I think stands out. So there you have it. And the coffee mug is there.
So
what does it mean? We don't know.
Right. What does it mean? We don't know. But it is suspicious. Watto Man 699 says, Justin said no knowledge of fen hunt is necessary to participate. Correct. But 9 Mile Hole is in his book. And in his book has hints to the poem as well. So again, we're thinking, I thought he said Netflix can help you where to look in the book, but I could be wrong. We're going to have to rewatch this.
Okay, now this is the big one, and some of you already are talking about it, the lock. This is the huge one, in my opinion, huge, and we're giving it to all of you. So good job, Sammy, for finding it, and now enough people have known. No, the lock, L-O-C.
Oh, the combo lock.
No.
What?
The
Oh, the lock. Gotcha. Now I got it.
the
Now
lock, however you
the
like.
lock, the actual lock. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So do you have the picture I sent you?
I do
No.
not, but I have this picture.
Okay, fine. Well, first do the first picture that you just showed a minute ago.
You sent it to me when the lock is not there. Oh, see, I don't have that picture.
Okay, where do I need to send it to?
Cowlazars. And just to show you guys what we were talking about with the coffee cup later on in the program, 2 coffee cups. Intentional? We don't know what's going on. There was 1 coffee cup, now there's 2. And let me just go back. Somebody said the opening scene in episode 1 in the combo is he goes to 52 or 53. What if that is the opening, is the beginning number for GPS? Because later he did GPS of 9 Mile Hole. What if 52, 53 is the first number for the latitude? That's all the way. Is that Alaska? Is 52 or 53 up in Alaska, top of Montana? It's just a guess, guys. Again, we're spitballing here what the clues could be, what the hints could be. But yeah, nobody is saying to go into 9 Mile Hole. We don't have to go to 9 Mile Hole. It could be a hint to the book. It could be a hint to something else. Could be a hint just to a fishing hole, because in the poem is the word hole. Cast your line in the hole. Maybe it's just saying it is a fishing hole. Things like that. Okay. Did you email it?
I did. Okay, so your guys are going to see. So we have the setup of his office with the 6 monitors around it.
Peter Lukaku, sorry. Who wants to bet Jack Stoof finds it? You know, Jack said he wasn't going to look for the Forrest Fenn box in that other treasure hunt, but Jack hasn't said anything about this hunt, has he?
Not yet. No.
Decided not to do a Medium article. Interesting. Anyway, yeah. Will Jack be looking for it? Probably. It's Jack. He'll probably look for it. And then I'll move it, you know. All right.
Okay, so we have the monitors around Justin. So bring up the one without the lock on it. So we're going to be looking on, if you're looking at the screen on Justin's left side, there is a bright blue picture. Michael, bring it up.
So you said show it without first.
Without it?
Okay. So this is, you look in this area, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not the bright blue. It's the one to his left elbow. So it's a picture of, you know, the beauty of the forest. Okay. So you look at that picture and.
Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm trying to see how you. No, that's not going to work. Oh, okay. I don't.
What's going on? I sent you 3 pictures. Why can't
right, but they're in one, which I think. Are they in one? Oh no. Okay. Give me a second. I'm downloading. So show the rock picture, the first picture first.
Yeah, the one. Yeah.
Picture of the rock, right? Yeah. Oh, so you zoomed in on the TV screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. There we go. This is zoomed in. Yeah. Go ahead, K-Pro.
So that. So I would want you to show the other one. So if you see that same monitor, this lock shows up intersprinkled throughout the 3 episodes. Sometimes that lock is there. Sometimes that lock is not. Sometimes that lock is there. Sometimes not, all throughout the episode. So there's 3 pictures I sent you. Can you bring up each one, please?
Chad Bird, didn't he say as of right now it was accessible? Yellowstone 9 Mile Hole can't be accessed until April 18th.
Ooh, Chad Bird, smarty pants.
Not saying go to Yellowstone. 3D bronze. After 4 years of hard work, I listed my only Forrest Fenn inspired bronze chest for auction with the Jack Stoof signed collected works bookmark. Hard to let them go, but there's bills to pay. Is that on eBay, 3D bronze, or you got it on the website? Let us know, and we'll show a link. If you want to email it to me, I'll show the link. Thank you for the super chat. And okay, let's go to K-Pro's next picture. This is the one without it, right? Oh, this is the one that says about spaces.
I don't know. I don't know what you're showing. Okay, so you can see down. I want you to put your cursor to the right of the white coffee mug and where that lock's going to show up. So right there, guys, you can see it's not there. Now go to the next picture.
And he says all the space. That's a question I meant to ask him, if all the clues or hints in Netflix are in his house, which we think, because he said that, we think it is.
Yeah, he said that. Well, once he says stuff, I don't know. Like, did you really mean it?
Yeah. And there's the lock. Magically, it just appears. So some
appears
there, and some scenes it's not. What does that mean, K-Pro?
And all throughout. So it seems like this one was a really important one. I think to unlock where you are trying to find this treasure is hidden in that picture. That picture is up on his Instagram, and where it is located everyone keeps telling me, including Mike that has Instagram, they're going to tell me where he has put this picture, and no one has been able to provide that. So I'm hoping one day I get a penny back and someone can tell me he has posted this particular picture on his Instagram with a location.
I'll have to look because I haven't tried.
I know everybody keeps saying that. So one day I will get it. I'm throwing a penny out there. Someone throw one back at me.
Chad Bird with the $5 super chat. Another Easter egg, 3 peaks drawn on his truck window, 3 brothers mountain.
Oh.
I don't know if it'll be that simple, Chad, but maybe. I mean, we're all spitballing here. So yeah, that lock is there sometimes and sometimes it isn't. And I'll show you a picture that you didn't send, Capro. And
Vern, are you saying Sinks Canyon State Park, Wyoming, is that picture with the lock? Is that what you're saying? Is the lock on the screen on the front of the screen? Positive woofs. I will tell you it is in front of the screen, because then if you also go to where Justin puts the meteorite down in his vault, you will see that same lock there. Is that important? There's one that's breaking news. I don't even know if Mike knew that. He didn't even listen either.
Edwards does have a good point. He says, earlier tonight, Justin said the documentary wasn't in the order they filmed it. That explains why the times on the clock are out of order and why the cups change and the lock is there sometimes, isn't there other times. Well, the lock, he could have just left it there the whole time. Seems like he physically moved it, and that we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So maybe he'll clarify. Maybe he won't. But, okay, thanks, 3D Bronze. We're going to show 3D Bronze's eBay auction.
See, Mike gets the hint all together, guys.
But yeah, go ahead. You can re-say it. But
no, I'm not saying it. Everybody else got it. You're not listening.
What I want to show is at the end of the dock, he opens his safe, and from the inside, here's the meteorite. There's the lock right there, right?
Okay, that's what I just said.
Oh,
yeah. So, okay, he wasn't listening, but he had the same idea. And he had the picture.
Great minds think alike. That's all.
I don't know about great minds.
But we haven't talked about the biggest clue, and that's when he changes the clock, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Ken, I'm going to get to your question.
If you guys watch the Netflix doc, out of nowhere, he just goes up and he moves the minute hand all the way around. He moves it ahead almost an hour. Why? That's out of just nowhere. But they put it in.
Minutes mean GPS, Mike. It's a GPS solution. That's why.
It could be.
Okay, this is a good question, and I have some inside secret knowledge. Not really, but I'll tell you the little bit I know. This is regarding his truck has a topo map wrap on it. So here's the deal. It was 2022, 2023. DeLacy, I think, was 2022. No, 2020. I don't know. Whatever year DeLacy was, I guess it would have been 2020. Cynthia, myself, Justin, his friend Tyler joined the last day. We're hanging out, and I didn't want to hike. I was already tired. I did not want to hike the last day. And he's like, do you want to hang? Do you want to hang in the truck with Tucker? That sounds like if you were an average person, that would have sounded like, oh, you had to sit in the truck. No, I got to sit in this beast of it's like a hotel room in there. He has a refrigerator. He has satellite phone. He had everything in it. And I hung with Tucker all day. Back at that time, that topo map wrap was not a part of his truck. So only since 2020 did that wrap get put on. So is it a hint? Is it a clue? Maybe. Well, you can't find it. Don't go to his house. He doesn't own that truck anymore, from what I understand. So, but would he have known that there was enough out there for that? Do you think that topo map being a wrap on Justin's truck is a hint?
I mean, he had the idea to do it, but remember, he says in his space, in his home. That's outside the home. So does that count? I don't know what to think of the topo.
At his home or in his home? What did he say? Because at his home could be the garage. The garage isn't in his home technically. I think the garage could be.
Yeah, that's one of his spaces. Yeah.
His driveway's his space.
It says, what does it say? It says, within all the spaces you guys have filmed in my house. That's what it says. Within all the spaces you guys have filmed in my house.
See, I'm going to rule out the driveway then.
So if you guys don't know, there is a forum for this discussion, hintofriches.com. Hintofriches.com, everybody. We redid the forum. It's got space for the Netflix episodes, what the clues are. It's got space for Forrest Fenn discussion. Somebody just started up what the best song in the Chase is. You know that long thread that was on Thor? The old Hint of Riches? The Chase song, what Chase song is for you. Somebody started it up again. And then also the book, the map, the poem, everything. Hintofriches.com. If you get an error, which some people are, just type in HINT, it'll come up. Chad Bird with the super
HINT. What does that mean?
hint of riches. HINT of type.
Okay. Okay.
Chad Bird with the $10 super chat. The times on the clock, it changes from 6:06 to 4:03, then shows 12:03. All times. So there you go. Chad Bird is doing the work for us, everybody. But when I agree with who said it earlier, when Justin said it's out of order and he didn't know how they were going to edit it, do those times mean anything?
I don't think the times. I think it's something either him moving it or just in general the clocks, because I've heard in the book, once I get the book, either ebook or otherwise, Mike, that I think it's in general either time, minutes, it could be GPS, it could be,
Or
he actually puts times in the book, I've heard, once I actually get the book one day.
well, you do realize this, K-Pro. Let me show you this. I hope everybody else, I'm sure everybody realizes, but I'm going to show you. Check it out. The very first line of the poem, and this is treasure.quest. Can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? So right there is time. And in Netflix, he moves the minute hand almost.
Minutes
So,
is GPS.
What does it mean, though? That's probably the $1 million question. What does it mean? Thank you for
The
the
multi-million-dollar question. Okay, another one. Did we talk about this? He doesn't say look for clues. He says look and listen. Listen for clues.
My theory on the lock that is sometimes there and sometimes isn't. When the lock is there is when you listen to what he says. That was my theory. Maybe you guys blow it out of the water, but that would be a way to say, hey, the lock means there's a clue in this little segment, this little clip. Is it right or not? But I think that's one valid way to do things like that. I have not gone through to say, what does he say when the lock is there and try and put it together.
Okay. So here's, okay, you guys have to thumbs up. We only have 18 thumbs up. I'm now number 19. Here's another one. See, Nikki likes it, but I don't. I think there's something more to it. I think it could be the lyrics that are at the end of the episode 3. That is a song that he specifically wrote or worked with a group of people for that is the Netflix song for Golden Greed. Hey, Mike, did you know that there's more money now in Bitcoin? In the Bitcoin
Let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
And we're going to show 3D Bronze's auction on eBay.
Ooh, 1 cup, 1 clue, 2 cups.
You gotta refresh on YouTube. We have 91 thumbs up, K-Pro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
No, if I refresh, it makes everything explode. So no.
Was the video good for everybody? It was a little jerky on when I was watching the playback.
It was fine for me, but somebody in chat said he keeps freezing up.
Yeah, I hope that's not when this processes. Hopefully, it's good. Okay.
And think about this. We went, I think, 22 minutes. He needed to limit to 20. We got so much information in 20 minutes. Good job, Mike.
Here is the Bitcoin wallet, everybody, and it's got $35 in it. Now, we know that Dave from the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt put in like $8 worth of Bitcoin. Anybody can go here and donate. If you know about Bitcoin, you can send money to this wallet right here. So anybody can just make a donation to the eventual finder. You can't pull it back out. You can only put it in. It's a one-way thing. But this increased from the $8.50 or so to $35. We should have asked him. I don't know if that's because Justin put a book sale in or if a searcher or somebody donated. So it is at $35.
So Obsessed Jared, who's I think a techie smarty said, I changed the video quality to 480p and it never froze after that. So it might be the individual person. I don't know.
Thanks, Amber. We appreciate that. Thanks. YouTube likes that, the thumbs up for the algorithm, you know? So here's Edward Hinson is going way deep. Hang on. Way deep over the conspiracy theory. Rearrange the audio, the Netflix audio, in the correct order based on the jumbled clock times. That would take a little bit of work, but for $1 million, I would probably go down that road just to see. I mean, but that would mean Justin had creative control and all that's in there on purpose, which is possible. I don't know. But that is an interesting idea, Edward. I mean, this is K-Pro called it. If you guys are new to our show, because we have 500 people that join to listen to Justin's interview, K-Pro called the treasure hunt and called the hints in Netflix like 4 months ago, was it? 3 months ago?
Yeah, but it was a Hail Mary. I thought pretty confidently about that he was going to do a hunt because that was in the Ben Wallace article. but it was a total Hail Mary base. Like, wouldn't it be cool? So I just doubled down on it because what's the worst that can happen? Mike was going to be able to play naughty sound clips. So it was awesome. That was a long shot that worked out. I wish that was a parlay or something at the casino because I would have really cashed in. Yeah.
Okay,
but gosh, I can't even tell you what my favorite part of that.
Well, it's huge that he said there might be one little cipher in there. He couldn't resist putting one thing in there. So what does that mean? And the confirmer that there's some kind of a checkpoint? What does that mean? I mean, that's huge. That's breaking news. He's never said that before.
Well, that he says he's going to put up on the website how many clues, like forest clues. Yeah.
To make it fair, he doesn't want to do it here. He'll do it there, which is pretty awesome.
And that it's step by step. We are going like down a route. I thought that was huge. He said there's several hints in the book. You know, we had this debate. USA China sent the pick truck, the truck of the pick of the truck. Sorry.
What?
You are being sent stuff. Or did you send it to me, USA China? If you send it to me, I will only have to get it.
Somebody asked for a side-by-side comparison on the combo. So here we go. Tiff Thompson, if that's your real name. Here we go. Can I do it this way? Oh, we're going to do entire screen. Yes, I can. Boom. Check it out, everybody. So this is the one. Let me zoom in. That's the one.
Isn't that between 1 and 1.5 if we want to really be?
No, because it's at an angle, I think. But this one, to me, it looks like it's in between. Now, if this is wrong, I wish Justin would just confirm that, no, that is not GPS. These numbers don't mean anything because this rabbit hole, you could go down forever. To me, this looks like it's on a 1, and this looks like it's between 10 and 11. Could be wrong. It could be nothing. It's possible.
So do you think it's interesting that he said he wouldn't answer whether it was buried, almost like Forrest? So maybe for legal reasons he didn't want to say it. But it wouldn't matter either way to knowing where we're getting to exact location. That is so much better than grid searching. I'm going over the answers. Can someone find it without looking at the map? No, he says that it's useful to be able to look at that map. He talked about exact location. How can you get better than that? Exact location, Mike.
I know. Yeah. If you solve everything, it's right there. Ciphers in the poem, that would be my initial guess, but we don't know. It does say something about, well, let me bring it up. Instead of saying something about, let's actually read it. Okay. It says if you know how to read the words or something like that. Let me see. Let me go to it real quick. Again, treasure.quest. Okay, this is the first stanza, okay? Can you find what lives in time? And Netflix, he moves the minute hand. Flowing through each measured rhyme, wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. Read these words just right, screams cipher to me, in some way, shape, or form. Now, would he give us a hint to the cipher in the book?
Well, and Jeff Green says, Not in Water says it on the website. Right, but we asked, do you need to cross any, like Forrest Fenn, if you were in that hunt, supposedly if you believe in 9 Mile Hole, you had to wade over the Madison River to get to the location. He ruled that out tonight as far as I'm concerned, but I'm going to rewatch it 100 times. Yeah. Here's a big one, Mike.
I think so too, Rain. That's true.
Less than a mile.
He said to find it from your car is less than a mile, or that you have to
He said it's not a great distance. He's going to say not more than 1 mile. Boom!
Breaking news. So what we need to do is we need to transcribe this and post it on Discord, post it in the Grand Adventure, put it on Hint.
Well, there's a transcript. Once it processes and comes up,
that's true.
Do a transcript.
That's true. Well, this video will always be here. You guys can rewatch it, make your own notes, etc. So we appreciate everybody coming. And thank you.
I'm reviewing. Let me just soak this in a little bit.
Go ahead.
So, are there any advanced ciphers? There's one that arguably could be considered slight tech knowledge needed, but it's not critical. Okay.
I don't know what to make of that.
Okay, no red herrings. Love that. No, love that.
No intentional red herrings. We make everything do a red herring like the combo safe. I think
this one was big. As of March, whatever today is, 31st, 8:30 p.m., 2025, it's accessible 24/7.
Yeah, that's a huge one. You don't have to pay to get in. It's accessible 24/7. So it is not in a place that has hours, doesn't that? That means not a national park, right?
Right.
Can you, boom. That's why you subscribe to the Cowlazars channel.
Wow.
That's pretty huge.
He doesn't see why not sharing the full solution. Oh, and the transfer of the LLC. That's puzzling me because somebody posted the picture.
Yeah, he said he didn't transfer it.
He said he didn't transfer it.
He just created it in Wyoming. Is that?
That's what he said, but
Chad Bird.
But didn't it say transferred by written agreement? We saw some picture.
I call him out on it. You have to. Our internet sleuths in Discord go pick that up. Chad Bird says there are only 2 holes that matter to him. Easy, Chad. 9 Mile Hole or the hole at White Sands. A couple of other things. Ursa is a reference to the Big Dipper, and the bride is Cassiopeia. Well, no wonder he wouldn't answer the favorite constellation.
Well, the funny part, Ursa, the main point is Polaris, and Polaris is the one star that connects the Little Dipper to the Big Dipper. Where do you think his Montana home is? Polaris, Montana. Coincidence?
He has a home in Polaris, Montana.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's what you just said.
Everybody knows that.
JBR says, I mean, if you have to get to Alaska, then I hope it's free to get in. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're going to have to pay travel expenses. We have to fly to Alaska or whatever, if it is in Alaska. But a lot of people are like, why would he put Alaska on his map if it's not in Alaska?
And Ursa is a bear reference because this is Zeus's mistress that had the kid, and he was protecting him from the wife, so he made them bears and then threw them up into. So for the mythology people, you're going to go crazy. The astrology people, you're going to go crazy. You go crazy. You go crazy. Okay.
Ursa, Emma, our friend from Treasure Hunt with us. Emma says Ursa can be the Little Dipper. Yep. Ursa just means bear in Latin.
You see? Okay. Do you see? Okay, Ken, Oklahoma. Do you think he clarified 1 mile from a non-4-wheel drive road? Here's what I think. Wherever you're parking, he means once your feet are on the ground from your car, you're not going more than a mile. There you go.
Ursa is not capitalized in the poem. What does that mean?
And whole is.
Good point. And whole is. Good point, Suzanne.
Okay.
So that means whole is proper. We went with the Brown, the home of Brown, for the Forest Fen people. That means whole is a named location, right? A proper name, like 9 Mile Hole. Probably isn't 9 Mile Hole, but it could be.
Okay. Can it be found in wintertime? Did you see he kind of dodged this question, but did answer it? He said, if there is snow, don't search. He didn't say there's not snow.
Right.
See?
Yeah, it's true.
See?
Horn the 5. Beyond the map's edge may not be on the map at all. Get it? It's beyond the map's edge.
Exactly. I've heard that one. Is the chest just out there, or is it like a geocache? He's saying it's not the replica, but it's something we will immediately recognize.
So speaking of a replica, everybody, we've got breaking news. The Treasure Hunt Amusement Park, that's right, 3D Bronze, you know them, you love them, has put up a replica chest on eBay, $16,000. But wait, Forest Fen Treasure Hunt inspired bronze chest and Jack Stoof signed bookmark. If you guys don't know, Jack Stoof is the one that found Forest Fen's treasure, sold it to Justin through an LLC. Jack Stoof signed bookmark, and look at this work, this beauty right here. And this is bronze, right? Yeah, this is Treasure Hunt inspired bronze chest. Wow, that's pretty awesome.
I have one of those. My honey got me one.
Yes, I didn't pay anywhere near that, but that's between us. Yeah, pretty awesome. I mean, if you really were,
his has a key. His has a wood lining. Yeah, his is probably. Yeah, it's
3D Bronze 2022.
Oh, 3D Bronze did that himself.
1 of 9, everybody.
Wow.
And this is an auction. You can do a buy it now for $25,001, or you can do the auction, which ends Monday on our show Monday. So we will bring this back up Monday, 3D Bronze. I hope it sells 3D Bronze. I do.
Okay. So Mike.
Yes.
I don't have the book yet, so I couldn't know. How would you know? He's saying Forest Fen searchers do not have an advantage, and it is a container that we would immediately recognize, and it's not the chest or replica chest.
What did he say? He said, if you read the book, you will know. what it is. It's something in the book. The book tells you what you're looking for.
What is it?
Which book? Beyond the Map's Edge.
No, what is it in the book?
Oh, we don't know. That's the trick.
No,
That's
you have to find it, Mike. You have to find
Right.
it.
So what I think is if you solve some things in the book, he's going to tell you what
I think it's pictured in the book somewhere.
Right. It could be.
And, you know, one day when I have accessibility to the book, we will. Okay. How many hints?
Stop rubbing it in, everybody. All right, check it out. This is a link to the eBay auction for Mr. 3D Bronze right here. And Kay, probably need your phone when I can get your videos so I can upload the 3D Bronze treasure hunt that the kids had fun looking.
Robert says he tells us in the book. Great. Tell me. I won't tell anyone, not the 470 people watching.
That's what we do.
His truck. It's his truck, Mike. You have to find his truck.
Well, what about that urn? What if it's
Duke? We did buy digital, and Mike was going to give me the Kindle access once he is through the book, and it's been days.
You have to come down here with your little laptop because it's through this book hollow. It's different than a normal Kindle. You have to upload it with a file. It's a whole thing, K-Pro. But I will give it to you tonight for sure.
And okay, another one. Some are now researching your family like your grandfather's amazing life. Is it necessary for the solution? And he's like, well, and you also asked him, I think you asked a 2-part question.
Yeah, I
and
did.
it kind of confused it a little. I think he basically said, yeah, knowing more of them might be helpful, but he really just he wasn't bothered by it, which the question was really more, does it help for the solution? Okay. The urn is in our Discord.
Like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
I am a cool mom. I'm a cool mom. I'm a treasure hunting mom. Right. Okay.
We're married, if you guys don't know. Go ahead.
Well, someone said, why is she so mean to him? Because I'm married to him, and that's what wives do, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, thumbs up. Thank you for Justin coming on.
Oh no, I have more.
Oh, more. Hang on.
This is the biggest one.
We can be here all night.
This is the biggest one, and we're getting to the end. But do you have clue verifications built in? He says he has a checkpoint that we will know 100%. And then Mike asked,
will
you have it? And he smiled like the canary in the mouth and didn't answer.
Maybe I should have asked the next question. The next question that he didn't ask was in our treasure hunt. Me and K-Pro did a treasure hunt for a spend coin and some other awesome things. In our book, we had a phone number you call. We have a website you go to. Huh? I didn't ask.
Why didn't you put it on the list?
It's there. I skipped over it. It's there. We had a phone number you call. We had what I call checkpoints where we would know how far along you are in the puzzle. There may be something like that in just a checkpoint that he knows about. A website you go to, a phone number you call to get a voicemail, a return email. I mean, there's different ways you can
Why didn't we ask that? Why did you skip it?
Because I didn't think he would answer. I mean, I just didn't think he would say it.
Hey,
David says the book is available now. Is it on? Let's go to Amazon and take on the Map's Edge. So here's the thing, guys. You probably don't know this, but down below we have some Amazon affiliate links you could use to order the book if you want.
We get a whole penny for each one, guys.
We have all the treasure hunting books, including The Thrill of the Chase, The Secret, all that stuff. And also down below in the description is our Discord, our Facebook group, hintofriches.com, and unchartedcollectibles.com, where go check that out if you would like a collectible for these treasure hunts.
I have more.
Okay.
And yeah, we could do this in the speakeasy so everybody can chime in. But I thought it was huge. He said no man-made structure. It's not in a man-made structure. Then we started getting into repeats. He asked that question about lure, and he said yes. I didn't even understand the question. So maybe I think that was Candy's question. So maybe she can help us out there. Can you talk about, did you regret putting anything in? He said there was a special, and then he stopped, and then he said collection. Collection of what, Justin? 60 pounds. He says it's north of that. Was the answer 60 pounds included the container or not?
It included the container. It did.
Okay.
It does include the container. Whatever that, get whatever that means. I mean, how else would he wear it? Would he weigh it, I should say?
Treasure Hound said just checked and not available on Amazon. Ordered on Barnes & Noble, though.
Yeah. I ordered on Barnes & Noble. It still hasn't shipped, but I ordered it like Friday.
You know the other one that I wish we asked and we didn't?
What's that?
And I think we were just over on time and I wanted to be respectful. He didn't include traditional chapters. He did these stories. Why? Was there a specific reason? Because chapters are traditional.
I don't think I do have that one. Sparky. Treasure in Search of the Golden Horse. I have a lot of books linked. I don't think I have that one. Good call. We have some live audio.
And he wouldn't.
Cowlazars? The hell does that have to do with treasure hunting?
Oh, after this show, you know what it has to do. We bring you the breaking.
Where did that come from, Mike? That sounds like Fendi Jones.
Shout out to Steve. He just sent that to me. So this is what I need. I need somebody that can take sound clips off of Netflix. I want the one of Justin saying, if somebody offers you a ticket to ride, you get on the ride or something like that. It's at the end of episode 3, the ticket to ride clip. If you can send that to me, I would appreciate it.
Okay, so you got all the secret hints. Justin he gave out more information than I ever thought he would, or I would have ever. It's amazing. It's awesome. Go into our Discord. We just gave a bunch of pennies. We talked about the GPS lock, the urn, the coffee mugs, the lock on the screen. This should be found by tomorrow, guys. And just remember, though, it's going to be a little bit different. Justin's going to know. Oh, we should have asked him.
Checkpoint.
Is he gonna announce when it's found or after the 30 days?
I thought it said it would be on the website. The countdown would be on the website, but I could be wrong. That was actually Hank Hill, everybody, not Billy Bob Thornton. Chad Bird's going crazy tonight. Thanks, Chad Bird. Hole is very possible because of an ode, the home of Brown. The container is in the video several times. Didn't answer if it was buried. Why do you think it's 30 days where warm water's halt? So you're saying the container's in the video several times. What do you think it is?
Okay. No, that's the one he said it's not in, and it was just holding that flimsy leather thing. Yeah.
Clarifies this on the website, treasure.quest. The briefcase that is shown in Netflix is not the container that the treasure is hidden in. He did not want to show the container, so he just used that saddlebag briefcase to do it for Netflix. Okay.
Right. Now, why do you think 30 days?
I don't know. Well, what did Forrest say? Put it under your bed for 30 days and think about it. But if the steward has other treasure items and he confirmed that he does, how do you not say, hey, because you can be anonymous. You can be anonymous.
Yeah, here's my thought. 30 days is long enough. Like if we found it tomorrow and we wanted to check with an attorney or check with a friend or whatever, that gives us a couple of weeks to work through that. And at the absolute most, after 30 days, he's probably saying, you're never going to contact me. So I'm willing at 30 days to cut it, because I'm assuming he's not going to give the solution till after that window is up. So he didn't want to, 2 weeks would be too short. 2 months would be too long. 1 month, 30 days, boom, right there. Magic.
Does he say how much the meteorite weighs? I don't think he does.
Oh, but it's the one in his hand.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
They show a picture of it, but I don't think he said how much it weighs, right?
Yeah, the contact lawyer, financial advisors, etc.
Debbie knows. Yeah,
Debbie knows. How long did it take you for your 200 grand? Yeah, it's the incentive to report. I did find it interesting. It's not just Bitcoin. What do you think the steward is holding other than Bitcoin, and why? Oh, well, he said he couldn't fit any more in this vessel.
I would hope.
I want to know what the vessel is. Do you think it's that dog statue? Do you think it's inside the dog statue?
I thought he said if you read the book, you'll know. But again, I need to rewatch this.
It'll be obvious, he said. Obvious. Recognizable to all.
Everyone loves the Netflix videos from all accounts. So will they make more treasure hunting stuff? I don't know why Hollywood hasn't made a big treasure hunt in the movie theaters. Like, I don't know why this hasn't been done years ago. I know there are some issues with certain legal things, but I don't know why it hasn't been done before now. But a big thank you to Justin Posey for making it happen.
Someone noted, they said we don't encourage anyone to treasure hunt. They don't direct you to Justin's website. Right. They don't say that he has a book. Basically, it's like a little mystery that you then jump on the internet and you can find pretty quickly. I'm going to say, just to be honest, and this is not a slight towards Justin, this is a slight towards Jared and his team. Documentaries typically are factually based. There are so many factual errors. I do not think when they say everybody loved Netflix, there were parts and times that I think everyone was frustrated that's either in it or a part of the hunt. Like representing that Justin didn't actually buy the chest. How could you factually get it more wrong? The Rudy part, that sucked. There was a lot of factual inaccuracies. If they would have called themselves a docudrama, but I think one searcher put it perfectly. It's kind of a professional embarrassment rather than a knock on any of the participants, because it was how it was edited and things, and just it's factually incorrect. And a documentary being factually incorrect, it's kind of like if you had a murder mystery but nobody was murdered. It wasn't, in that regard, I would say it's less than ideal.
Okay. So David, because we do have some new people, David says, what WTF is There's Treasure Inside? Are there 2 treasure hunts for millions? Yes, there are. And we've done a bunch of shows on There's Treasure Inside. And Treasure Inside also has a Forest Fen box that has the olive jar and some other Forest Fen items. So there are 2 different treasure hunts going on.
Both inspired by Forest.
Yeah, both inspired by Forest, but different. So There's Treasure Inside is a totally different thing. And we'll get back to There's Treasure Inside eventually. But this is the latest. This is the greatest. This is in Netflix. Me and K-Pro, if you didn't know, we are in Netflix as well, some of the YouTubers. So this is the one we're going to work on. Chad Bird, going crazy tonight. If we all pitch in $10K, we can rent time on a supercomputer to crack the SHA-512 that contains the location. Yeah. I feel so bad for the Hearst boys. That is a good point. That's a good point. It did sound like, Justin, in the Treasure Quest frequently asked questions, it did make it sound like the digital fingerprint might be the location. So you're not going to be able to crack it with a supercomputer. You need a quantum computer that's 20 years down the road.
Okay, you guys want to hear something funny?
Yes.
My daughter comes downstairs and she says, I have a problem with this hunt. And if this is what it means and you explain it to me how I'm thinking it, I'm not participating. And I said, what? And she said, he wants my fingerprint before I can get the treasure. And I said, fingerprint? She goes, I'm not giving my personal information. I said, where does he say that you need the fingerprint? And so she read the thing that said the digital fingerprint. She's like, well, that's what it means. I'm going to put that on the digit thing.
To be a teenager again, folks.
She's so cute. I love her.
Not your fingerprint. Yeah, Netflix documentaries are not true documentaries. That is a good point.
I didn't realize that. I thought documentaries meant documentaries. Okay, so they're kind of crappy documentaries. Got it.
In my opinion, I gave the Netflix documentary a B+. I think it's a good story. It's just not factually accurate in all aspects. That's all. I thought they implied he bought the chest. He did, but he used this LLC to do it, Dan, and then they auctioned off most of the items.
No, but I don't think they implied that. They implied the opposite. In episode 3, Justin said, I was planning on buying the treasure chest and all the items and rehide it, but now I'm going to plan B. And they never shored that up at the end. So I know a lot of conspiracy theorists said, see, you guys bought fake stuff at auction, etc. No, it was just really poor documentary making.
David Sant, you're lucky to have that wife. My wife got me both books, and now my life is treasure hunting. So he got Beyond the Map's Edge and TTI. That's pretty awesome. There's
so few. And some people have asked me, are you now no longer working on TTI? I can't. I have a location. JCB has put a hard stop on his hunt until snow is melted. So I will be going boots on the ground. Oh, yes, I will. What am I enthusiastic about? One that I can actually work on it, not get started, then just stop.
So if you are new to There's Treasure Inside, definitely watch our video from a couple months ago on the past and future box with the word search, because we did break the secret message that's in the word search. So yeah, check that out.
Okay, can I buy the documentary without having to subscribe to Netflix for several months? I don't think so. I think you have to. Now you can do it's $5.99 or $7.99, and you can get a 30-day free trial.
If you're a brand new subscriber, you get a 30-day free trial. Just watch it and then cancel the subscription.
What does that mean?
Yeah, Lou B is in here. Lou B is in our chat and watches, and we're hoping to have Lou B on next week. So hopefully Monday's show. I haven't confirmed it with him yet, but we will get Lou B on here. I want to hear about Netflix, how they filmed. I want to hear what he thinks of this new treasure hunt as well.
Look at Buck's. I don't have anything from you, Buck. But Buck said he sent you something. He's the master wizard of clipping stuff.
All right.
I heard there was or is a free stream. Duke, know what we did, and it's completely legal. We did a private. It's almost like a watch party at your house, as long as you had under a certain number of people, which we did, and we didn't monetize. And I think all but 2 people had watched it already, so they already had Netflix. But we went about every 10 to 15 minutes, and then we cut it off and talked about it. It took us 5.5 hours. It was amazing. Yeah, I want to know what kind of snake bit Lou's face off and almost lost an eye. Yeah, I don't know. My understanding of Justin getting the friend treasure that he was trying to buy it and then it was put up for auction and he was able to purchase items. No, Berkser, he is the one that put it on auction at Heritage. He is the buyer, and then he sold all of it but a few items. So, and he kind of confirmed that tonight, but we knew that because we got invited to go down to Heritage. We were able to view it, all of that. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Chad Bird, once again. Thank you all, and to Justin. I really think the clues point to the fact JP starts his poem where Forrest Fenn's ended and ended where Forrest Fenn started. That's the 9 Mile Hole connection. Could it be that on a map, that's like your starting point? That's what you think, April?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I need to reread the poem in that context and reread the book. I've only read about half the book. I have not finished the book yet. So, all right, Steve just sent this. It's kind of long, but do you want me to
I don't know what it is, so I don't know.
It's another funny clip. It's about 30 seconds.
Oh, that's long, but okay.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's Lou B in one of
the house.
Netflix Golden
Japanese rat snakes. So does that mean it eats rats?
I liked how when you were going back to get the treasure, Lou B, you had sandals on for your boots on the ground when you had the flat tire. I thought that was funny. Anyway, all right, here we go. Thanks to was it Steve that sent this? Yeah, thanks to Steve. Here we go. Live audio.
Yes, hello. I'm calling in on the Forrest Finn hotline, and I was kind of wondering if Jerry Lewis was available to speak to. Well, anyways, I'm just calling to let you know that some snot-nosed kid with a global positioning satellite beat me to the punch, found the treasure, and now he's trying to sell the dang thing. Do you know how hard it is for an 80-year-old lady from Jersey to get on an airplane, fly out to Bozeman, rent a car, go down to Yellowstone National Park, and then lose an aluminum walker in the Madison River? Well, tell Jack that he owes me a walker with tennis balls.
All right, thank you. Forrest Fan Hotline. And we do have a phone line. Sometimes we open up the phone lines.
Not tonight. We're going to Speakeasy, guys. So then everybody can chit chat. Everybody can weigh in. Super secret clues. What did we miss? Justin, we're going to be analyzing your facial recognition where you paused. Can we borrow your code? And yeah, that was awesome. Yes.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share, all that fun stuff.
500. We were over 500 tonight.
Done that in a long time. Yeah. That's the power of Justin Posey's son. I wanted to ask him how many books sold, but I meant to ask him that as well. Yeah. So down below in the description, there's a link to Discord, and one of the Discord channels is Let's Talk About It. We all jump in there. It's audio only, and people talk about the Justin Posey interview, and
This doesn't make sense to me. Justin has written many guidebooks that you can only see on Goodreads but can't buy. The only one in the U.S. is for Montana. Can you provide a link, good sir? Wow. Okay.
He's $10 super chat from Chad Bird. He's standing in the meadow near the junction looking back west to turn around from east. Do you mean that picture of Justin and his dog staring out? I'm not sure what you mean more by that. He's standing in the meadow near the junction. All right. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Okay, I need to have dinner, and we're going to be in the Speakeasy. Craig Carter says his new AI program's already in development.
Yeah. Speakeasy, be there or be square. This was an impactful. This was an inflection point. He answered so many things. Thank you, Justin. You rock.
It's good info. And no, Justin, he'll have the answers or he'll link to this on the website by tomorrow to make it fair for everybody.
He'll probably write a code that makes it all.
First picture in the book. Okay, Chad, thanks. All right, everybody, thank you. We go live Mondays, Thursdays, and we go live whenever there's breaking news. So we will see you next time. Appreciate it. Thanks, Justin.